Welcome everyone to the Wake Up Call channel. I mentioned in a previous video that I would cover the Black Eye Club because we see so many celebrities over the years walking around taking selfies with a black eye. This is not normal behavior. Now, some people have covered the black eye symbolism before, talking about it being an initiation ritual, but it's more than an initiation ritual. It's actually more of a loyalty ritual than anything else. We've seen humiliation rituals done out in the public where celebrities, like most recently John Cena walking on stage with no clothes at the Oscars. There's humiliation rituals, and then there's rituals like this where celebrities will actually receive a sort of a hazing type of ritual, like a badge of honor, so to speak. So you'll see celebrities out in the public with black eyes. Nobody thinks anything of it, but of course, most of the time they'll give you a fake backstory that so-and-so fell and hit their face on the side of a cabinet in their home, or a celebrity was just out and fell off their bicycle. Just like the stories they give us on how these people became famous, they are 100% fictional. In fact, if you look at the amount of celebrities I'm about to show you, and politicians and major corporation heads, you'll start to say to yourself, just like when we see all the symbolism put together of them holding the all-seeing eye up or their hand over their eye, that there's definitely a pattern here, and that's what it's all about. Before the internet, they thought that they could get away with this stuff out in the open, and now that the internet exists, for their benefit mainly, it's easy for people like me and you to start showing people the pattern of the same signs and symbols being done over and over again, and it helps wake people up to the fact that this is not done at random. So that's one of the things that the internet has actually benefited people to see the existence of these secret societies out in the open. So again, when you try to explain this to people, just explain it in the sense almost of hazing, right? We know that fraternities, they have hazing rituals and nobody thinks anything of it, right? Oh, to get into the frat, they had to be hazed, right? Well, in Freemasonry, it's the same thing in a sense. There's a lot of rituals that are done when they go into different degrees of Freemasonry. Again, humiliation rituals, and then rituals like this, where they're actually given a black eye. Now, we know how important one-eye symbolism is to the New World Order. Right? That's why there is a one-eye symbol. There's an eyeball on the back of the dollar bill inside of a pyramid. It couldn't be more obvious than that. They're referencing Zechariah chapter 11, verse 17. Woe to the worthless shepherd who deserts the flock. May a sword strike his arm and his right eye. May his arm be completely withered and his right eye utterly blinded. Now, there's other verses in the Bible that reference the eye as well. But let's take a look at these celebrities flaunting their black eyes, where even if you use common sense, you would say to yourself, well, if you had a black eye, you probably wouldn't be getting headshots done. You probably wouldn't be out on the red carpet, and you certainly wouldn't be taking selfies of yourself and putting it on Instagram. But all these celebrities just seem to do that. Now, we can't remember, I'm sure in your life you've been, you might have had a black eye at one point, at one time. A lot of people haven't had a black eye. I don't think I've ever had a black eye. But I certainly don't remember seeing too many people in my day-to-day life that have had a black eye. So if you think about the small circle that these people exist in, from celebrities to politicians, then you'd say to yourself, well, okay, it's one thing to see two celebrities over a lifetime with a black eye. It's another to see pretty much every single celebrity. Just like when you look up, all-seeing eye symbolism with celebrities, you'll see black eye symbolism with almost every single celebrity. So there's articles out there about the black eyes and is it a sign of the Illuminati? And the answer is yes. We've seen Doja Cat, right, posing with the black eye symbolism. We've seen Jennifer Lopez flaunt it in Instagram posts and Twitter posts, taking pictures of themselves. These people who are so into self-worship and how they appear, right? Nobody thinks to themselves, why would they take a picture of themselves and put it out for the world to see when they have a black eye? Oh, I guess they've got no shame, right? I guess Jennifer Lopez just decided, hey, since J-Lo has a black eye, maybe her husband, Ben Affleck, should have a black eye as well. And here he is walking around with a black eye, nobody thinking much of it other than the fictional story that they give you when somebody asks them how they got a black eye, right? Tom Hanks with the black eye posing in the picture with Oprah Winfrey during the, planned outbreak that all these celebrities were telling you to run and get poison put in your body. And of course, we're never held accountable for that because they continue to tell you that even though there were no benefits at all, that it saved everybody's life. So we've seen Tom Hanks many times out in the open with the all-seeing eye. This is probably my favorite one, which I'm throwing in here now, is Susan Sarandon, the actress Susan Sarandon, who has a vicious-looking black eye, who obviously, when you have a black eye, you want to put it on Instagram, right? So it takes a selfie. You can see even the one-eye symbolism with the selfie. And if those of you, Susan Sarandon is a perfect example. Because when I say that everybody is in on it, everybody is in these secret societies, you wouldn't think of somebody like Susan Sarandon, right? You would think, well, okay, I could see Eminem, I could see Madonna, I could see Lady Gaga because of how they act. You wouldn't think Susan Sarandon. You would say, well, Susan Sarandon can't be one of them. Well, of course Susan Sarandon is. And we've seen Susan Sarandon over the years playing peekaboo, doing all-seeing eye symbolism all the time, right? Holding paddles over their eyes. They love to do these poses, not just with their hand over their eye, holding objects over their eyes. They think it's cute. They think that we're too dumb to see it. And again, Susan Sarandon, just another one of these actresses or actors, if you listen to some people and their take on Susan Sarandon, who flaunt this stuff. So showing you the black eye symbolism. Another celebrity who is just taking, who's supposed to be all about vanity and beauty, who had no problem taking, I guess because, they're so comfortable in their own skin, they love to just show us their black eyes, is Elizabeth Hurley. Now, Elizabeth Hurley put this Instagram picture up of a black eye. I actually recently covered Elizabeth Hurley over on the website in regards to normalizing mothers and sons in some type of weird romantic type of out in the open relationship where they flirt with each other and they talk about having a kissing scene with one another. That's the next thing to be normalized. Because remember, every single thing in the Bible that's forbidden, they are trying to normalize. This is how Satanists operate. This is how they live. They read the Bible inverted, backwards. So everything that God forbids them from doing, they do. And part of a satanic baptism is to actually commit the 10 commandments. So every single commandment that God gives us to not do, right? Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not lie. All those things that they have to do when they're initiated in Satanism. So it filters down to all these other things that we see going on. God talking about a man should not dress as a woman should not dress as a man, normalizing it, right? About acts, again, with children, your own children, or other people's children. Those are things that are forbidden that we see them trying to normalize out in the open. Acts with animals as well. So Elizabeth Hurley is working on that gimmick along with other celebrities quietly while no one's paying attention. Then we get Robert Downey Jr., right? One of the more obvious Satanists out there who regrouped in Hollywood, who recently just won I believe, an Academy Award. He won an award and was holding the award up over his eye, right? So, he had a black eye, was on stage, no problem. Adam Sandler, another person I've covered over the years, a member of the club as well, giving you a fictitious story of how he got a black eye going on late night talk shows and, just joking around about it. I mean, look how many people you're seeing so far who are out in the open with black eyes. Again, think to yourself, how often have you seen somebody with a black eye? Probably next to never, right? And if there was an example of somebody with a black eye around you, if you did have a friend, it was very highly likely they got in some type of altercation. These stories that they give, they're never about altercations. They're always about they fell, right? We're supposed to be either bumping into walls and cabinets. I mean, here's another one, Brad Pitt, another member of the club who all the people out there seem to worship and idolize and don't want to believe. Brad Pitt's one of those ones, kind of like some of the other ones I'll show you in a few seconds here. And like Tom Hanks, right? A lot of people out there don't want to believe Tom Hanks is a part of it, right? It's one thing to believe that some of these people who are out in the open, who are obnoxious like Miley Virus, it's one thing for them to say, fine, I don't need but Brad Pitt, Tom Hanks, you see a lot of conservatives defend them, saying that they're not members of the club. They're all members of the club. So Brad Pitt out in the open with a black eye. We've seen David Bowie, the Satanist as well. David Bowie always doing all-seeing eye symbolism. The notorious picture of David Bowie with the lightning bolt under his eye that so many celebrities continue to do to this day. And so many of his songs are about occult practices. Another Freemason who was out in the open doing the black eye symbolism as well as the Illuminati all-seeing eye symbolism. Miley Virus with black eye symbolism. Sometimes you'll see them just paint a black eye on themselves like Marilyn Manson does over the years, or put a pigment in their eye. We've seen Lady Barfbag. She just decided, she just had an accident herself, right? Lady Gaga just fell and then let everybody know that she fell by putting up a picture of the black eye on Instagram. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the trial that they put on that performance a few years ago, which was nothing more than a distraction and theater that people were getting involved and invested in. You saw how many people support Johnny Depp. Even Christians out there support Johnny Depp. He's one of the most wicked Satanists in Hollywood. Ask River Phoenix, ask all of these other people who have come in contact with Johnny Depp, who know what Johnny Depp's involvement is. Ask the West Memphis Three, who helped Johnny Depp help bail them out of prison. I mean, Johnny Depp is a high-ranking Satanist in Hollywood. So we've seen him with the black eye symbolism as well as Amber Heard. We've seen Perez Hilton, the nobody knows what this guy's famous for celebrity, who I believe in the past has even covered my channel, trying to mock it. Of course, this guy's famous for no reason other than what they call celebrity gossip. He's one of them as well. We've seen Boy George out in the open flaunting a black eye. Most recently, I covered Steve Buscemi and the just the stuff that they're doing in the cities with these fake black eye attacks. People are getting punched in the face. No motive whatsoever. There's walking up to people getting punched in the face. Of course, this is to bring about more surveillance, more CCTV cameras on every single street corner. Steve Buscemi walking around with a black eye afterward. The entire thing was a psyop. Stephen Colbert, another guy I've covered over the years. Skippy Podesta's best buddy. Colbert, anybody out there that thinks, he's a perfect example to use when you talk about how these people are not talented, how they're put in these positions. I know sometimes people have a tough time believing that because they like some movies that some of the celebrities are in. They're like, no, but he is pretty talented, because they fall for that. Will Ferrell's one that I used to always get commented on when I covered, and they say, well, he is pretty talented. Stephen Colbert is a perfect example of somebody who is not funny, who is not talented. He is absolutely unbearable. Unbearable. It doesn't matter what your politics are. This guy couldn't crack a joke if he tried. He is cringe 101. Of course, he's got the black eye symbolism. We've seen his affiliation with Skippy Podesta. They rolled him out around that event that occurred at that pizza parlor in Washington, D.C., of course, to deflect on it, to train the populace to think that it was just some crazy conspiracy. People were making stuff up about what was going on at a pizza parlor, never addressing any of the actual photos that were posted that 10 out of 10 people, if they saw their neighbor do it, would have called the police on them. Roseanne Barr, another one I should cover and do a separate video on. Roseanne Barr out in the open, mocking the black guy club, saying, oh, I have a black eye. People are making fun of her. She's one of these people that tries to cover up and pretend that she's she's a conservative and they canceled her. Okay, all you need to know is look up Roseanne Barr and look up Roseanne Barr and the Kabbalah. Roseanne Barr is a devout Kabbalist. Okay, I told you about the connection between the Kabbalah and secret societies and Freemasonry. They practice black magic. They're sorcerers. Roseanne Barr said that her whole life, she's so thankful to Kabbalah. If it wasn't for Kabbalah, she wouldn't be in the position she's in. A side note on Roseanne, and while she did this interview, she was mocking and making fun of conspiracy theorists who talked about her being a part of the club. She said one of the funniest things, which she probably took from one of my videos, because I know for a fact that Roseanne actually used to subscribe to my big channel that I had. You could see subscribers, people who subscribe to your channel. It would show you subscribers, channels that subscribe. Roseanne Barr was at the top of the list, and of course I was very suspicious of that, because why would somebody in Hollywood be watching openly my channel? And then come a year or two later, Roseanne Barr is now a conspiracy theorist. And then Roseanne Barr is doing interviews, herding conservatives into following the Trump bandwagon. And then talking about, well, celebrities who hold their hand up over their eye, the photographer just told them to do it, right?
All black. I got a black eye. Remember that when I was at Kathy's house?
Yeah.
From hitting the back of my head. It was weird. And then I was, I showed everybody. I took a picture. They're like, oh, she's in the Black Eye Club. I mean, saying I was a Satanist and shit. Sometimes people, well, I don't know. It's some kind of ritual they do, and they all got a black eye.
Oh, but sometimes people, you're saying.
Sometimes you just fall down and hit your eye.
Yeah.
You can't go, that's what I was saying, that they just go way too far with it. Like one time I did a magazine cover, and the lady had me hold something over my eye. And I go, why would I want to do that? And she goes, just everybody does it. I go, okay. Yeah. So I held a button over my eye, and now it shows all these people doing that. And they say they're in the Satan Club. Well, I just did it because the photographer told me to.
Yeah.
And they probably did too.
Yeah, the photographer just told them to hold their hand up over their eye. All these celebrities, just some random photographer we're supposed to believe went to school for photography, was just placed in that position, is so talented, we're not. And they just asked the celebrities to do it, and they just did it. Right? Just like if somebody asked you, right? If you were taking a picture with your mom and your friend was like, hold up the middle finger. Would you hold up the middle finger? You'd be like, I don't want to hold the middle finger. I'm making a picture of my mom. Why would I hold the middle finger? I don't want a picture of me holding it. Oh, no. You would just do it, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. Again, Roseanne Barr, somebody who 100% followed my channel. You could click on it when I had the channel. You could click on who follows your channel, and it took me right to Roseanne's page, the same one now that Roseanne posts all these conspiracy videos on. And again, Roseanne's one of these people that deflects about signs and symbols openly admits to being in the Kabbalah and then tells you to go vote for Trump and all this other crap. This is part of the alt-right hive mind honey trap that they've laid out there. So BB Rexa, another one I've covered in the past, doing the all-seeing eye, excuse me, the black eye symbolism right in front of us. Reese Witherspoon doing the black eye symbolism out in the open with the black eye, sporting it. Richard Branson, another, here's another guy, philanthropist we're supposed to believe is so talented, so smart, makes all this money, right? Branson's always flashing the 666, always doing the all-seeing eye symbolism, looks very happy with his black eye, but we're supposed to believe he's into adventures and he does all these crazy things, so I guess he just fell out of his chair and got a black eye, right? That's, of course, what they want the suckers out there to believe. Kanye West, another one who sported the black eye. He's another one of those double agents. That's what I should just start calling people like Roseanne, Kanye, double agents. They pretend, COINTELPRO, they pretend to be all for truth. Now they cover and talk about conspiracy topics, but these people are nothing more than hurting the masses out there. They wouldn't be alive if they were actually exposing their brotherhood that they were a part of. Look no further than the video I did on Mozart, which is on the website. Okay, Mozart was a member. Mozart started separating himself from Freemasonry. Mozart didn't want to be a part of it anymore, started exposing it out in the open. Guess what? Mozart got whacked. Okay, and that's that infamous painting of Mozart, his funeral, that only his dog went to his funeral. Nobody attended Mozart's funeral, and they go, oh, what a lonely death for poor Mozart. How come nobody attended the funeral? Nobody attended, no one was allowed to attend. Mozart was whacked. He turned his back on the brotherhood. The same would happen to any of these celebrities. Kanye West, all of a sudden, oh yeah, he's a truther now. Roseanne Barr's a truther now. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, they all have platforms, right? They all have platforms. Another one, Justin Bieber. Okay, I've covered Justin Bieber many times. Madonna, very obvious one. Who, if you don't think Madonna's a Satanist, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Then, of course, we've seen a lot of politicians doing it, right? We've seen Pope Francis with the black eye out in the open, right? Oh, what did Pope Francis? Pope Francis fell on the toilet. Was he drinking out of the toilet and bumped his eye on the side of the toilet bowl? Yeah, okay. Macron, the president, minister, whatever you want to call him, of France, who is a New World Order hand-selected puppet. We've even seen Maxwell here, one of the ones who's working the society, working the conservatives. Again, these people who are following the Epstein CIA-created endless rabbit hole where nothing's going to be resolved, keep making you look at an island when most of this stuff's going on underground. Okay, Maxwell, we're supposed to believe, got punched in the face as if Maxwell's in a prison cell with regular people. We all know that Maxwell's not even in a prison cell. None of these people go to prison. Just like Epstein, these people don't even get whacked when they tell you that they do. They just go on permanent vacation, get a little plastic surgery, live out their days, right? So John Kerry, another member of Skull and Bones, sporting the black eye, out in the open, along, of course, with George W., right? George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, both those, the Bush family Skull and Bones members. Okay, no coincidence there. We've seen the Royals, of course, with the all-seeing eye symbolism. And don't forget Barry Soetoro. Barry showed up out in the open with a black eye, even speaking at the United Nations with a black eye many years ago. So this is a lot of people to see. And this is just me grabbing, a bunch that I know of off the top of my head, or, just some that I think of and just research and see if they've walked around in public with a black eye. And you'll find pretty much every single celebrity has, right? Leo DiCaprio. They tell you these, Leo DiCaprio got attacked with a bottle. Oh, is that what happened to Leo DiCaprio? Oh, someone attacked Leo with a bottle, right? Some of the stories that they give you are it's beyond laughable, really, but people believe it. Just like they believe the fictitious stories of how they all become famous and rich, and how, you should try to do it too, and you could do it. They could do it. You could do it. So keep trying as hard as you can and never achieve it. That won't lead to depression, anxiety, the sense of, being worthless. They don't if you knew how they became famous and you knew they were government operatives, not only would they lose their stranglehold over you and the power they have over you, they would be rounded up by the people in society. They would lose their power. And even if they weren't rounded up and arrested for the things that they're doing, the mind control that they're doing on people, people would turn it off and they wouldn't give them any power anymore. That's the power they hold over people, is that people listen to them, people watch their movies, people worship them. So the black eye symbolism you can find with pretty much everybody. And again, this has absolutely nothing to do with random coincidences. This is another Masonic initiation. Again, if you want to mention to people about Freemasonry, and you want to talk about hazing, a lot of the stuff they do in the open. We know the humiliation rituals. I covered John Travolta recently. I covered John Cena recently. We've seen a lot of them do it out in the open, where they make them embarrass themselves out in the open. And people go, they don't think anything more of it. They don't go, why would John Cena go on stage at the Oscars naked? Is that funny? Sure, it might be funny to a couple of the sheeple out there, a couple, But, that's not what they're doing it for. John Cena would probably oppose to it. He'd be like, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of everybody in the room, trying to become a serious actor. Oh, right, that's the way to do it, right? Or John Travolta going on that show. And sometimes they do it to them. They'll do the humiliation ritual because they haven't done something that they were asked to do. So in other words, when you're a member of a secret society, if they come to you, now they'll come to you and you have to make a sacrifice if they ask you to make a sacrifice. And that's why you see a lot of the celebrities have loved ones close to them that pass away with these bizarre events. But if they ask them to do something else, let's just say they ask them to Me Too themselves. Like a lot of celebrities were asked and told to go out in the open and shame their legacy, like Kevin Spacey, allow themselves to become embarrassed out in the open. Okay, and if they didn't do it, what we saw was a lot of them going out in the, being humiliated out in public, right? This doesn't matter. To them, everything in their life is based on the brotherhood. It's above all. I've covered even quotes from Truman before. Presidents who have served in this country who have talked about their oath to the secret societies, to Freemasonry, ranks higher than their oath to any American or any civilian in any country, okay? They put it above everything. And that is their oath that they take to their brotherhood, their oath that they take to Lucifer. So the Black Eye Club is another one of those things you could show people. If you think it's a random coincidence, just think to yourself, how many people do you know who have gotten a black eye? Probably not many, right? And maybe you've gotten one at one point in your life. All the stories around these people are all make-believe, and they're always out in the open flaunting it, right? It's just another way to show all-seeing eye symbolism as well. Like I said earlier, in Zechariah, it says it right in the Bible. That's what they're referring to when they talk about it, or when they show it, I should say. Woe to the worthless shepherd who deserts the flock. May a sword strike his arm and his right eye. May his arm be completely withered and his right eye utterly blinded. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 17. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always, and your families.